We ready. We ready. We ready for y'all. We ready. Big show today. Big show today. Game 7. Timberwolves forced to Game 7 against the Nuggets. Let's go. When this comes out, I will either be grieving or cheering. I'm obviously going for the T-Wolves. I do like the Nuggets. Been hammering the Jokic triple-doubles, player prop bets. But big show today. We've got Bill Krackomberger, a.k.a. Billy Crackman. He is a professional sports bettor, so we talked a lot of future bets with him, whether it was NFL, wins and losses, playoff chances, and also talked about golf bets, and NFL, NBA, all of it. And Bill's a great dude, and it was fun to talk with a professional gambler and how he handles himself. And then we talked hoops with the Bison legend and the color commentator for the Bison radio station, Dexter Werner, and talked hoops with him. And then we talked with the great and powerful Nathan Klein. Nathan is a horse track announcer, caller. He knows a lot about the ponies. Preakness was this past weekend, so we talked that, and just a fun show, jam-packed with a lot of great guests, and appreciate everybody listening. Here we go.
Here come the boys. Y'all ready to go swimming, baby? Come on. Give it up. Get out of that water. I tried telling y'all, it's swim lessons, baby.
All right, we are back in the pocket. Big news this morning was Scottie Scheffler. He got arrested today on the way into the golf tournament that's being held at Valhalla Golf Course. And going on Twitter this morning was it was awesome. I mean, Twitter is always funny. But some of these tweets, I mean, I was rolling. I was talking to our guest Dexter Werner about it. But imagine you have a great, crazy night in Louisville, and you end up in the drunk tank, and you're sitting there, and they're like, "Hey, we got a guy coming in," and it's Scottie Scheffler. Like, could you imagine? Okay, here's one of my favorite ones. If he's the next one on the tee, he must be set free. If Scottie Scheffler's Masters dinner, it's with the guys
in prison, dinner was always a big thing. We had a pasta course, and then we had a meat or a fish. Paulie did the prep work. He was doing a year for
off Goodfellas. Says apparently these police officers who detained Scottie Scheffler this morning in Louisville, it shows the guys, the cops off of Superbad. The cop learning who Scottie Scheffler is.
Fuck.
It's just, Twitter is awesome. If you're not on Twitter, you got to get on there. Scheffler going from the clink to his first tee this morning.
We must stop the terror. I call upon all nations to do everything they can to stop these terrorist killers.
My God. Like, there's just so much. This is my favorite one, the best for last. Rory McIlroy driving past Scottie Scheffler this morning, and it's Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sinbad in a movie, and here it is.
Woo! Is there a problem, officer?
It's just, it goes and goes and goes, but one of my favorite clips was from the great and powerful Dave Portnoy. He called into some Fox sports show, and they were talking about it. And here's what Portnoy, the GOAT, had to say about Mr. Scottie Scheffler.
For you, Stuart.
Oh, you're too kind. Dave Portnoy's on the phone. Dave, this is a surprise. Scottie Scheffler has a very clean-cut image, and I've got reports that you put $50,000 to bet on Scheffler to win the PGA Championship. Am I right?
Well, yeah, he's my guy, Stuart. He's made me millions, and I'm a foxhole guy. When the chips are down,
foxhole
you
guy,
can expect Dave Portnoy to have your back. So, yes, when I heard the news, I jumped right on DraftKings, put in $50,000. The odds are up because, a lot of people are saying you can't win the PGA Championship when you're in jail. But I knew he'd get out, Stuart, so we're ready to roll today.
It's pretty serious charges, though. Assaulting a police officer, third-degree criminal mischief, reckless driving. That's pretty strong stuff, Dave.
Yeah, that's garbage. I mean, they're saying they're miscommunication. Listen, the cops have a very difficult job. There's obviously a tragic incident there. This probably would have been the one time in the history of times where a guy can say, "Do you know who I am?" He's pulling into he's on the driveway to the golf club, and there's reporters all along. The cops clearly had no idea who he was. I would think they'd be a little more informed when there's a major tournament and there's 9,000 people around. Again, there's a tragedy that happened. Scotty Scheffler probably should not have been behind bars. It's crazy they got that far to make a mugshot. But listen, the mugshot, what that's going to do, Stuart,
Yeah, Portnoy's got a point there. And hey, Dave, I'm ready to come work for Barstool. So let me know when you're ready. But I'm with him. And it was unfortunate. I mean, I feel bad for Scotty Scheffler. He just became a dad. Obviously a lot going on in his life, and that's just kind of, I mean, he was in there early trying to get a workout in, trying to get ready for the tournament, and then they get him with that. But one of my favorite tweets, and I mean, it's political, but it's hilarious. But I'll leave you with this: they're cheering for Scotty at the tee like he just got back from Iraq. I mean, dude. It sounds like a big misunderstanding, but he still made his tee time. So if you haven't been on Twitter yet, find your way to Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. It's full of absolute gold when it comes to this story. Big news coming out of the movie world. In honor of I'm a big Adam Sandler guy, big Adam Sandler cat. So I'm rocking the Bobby Boucher jersey today for him. But they're coming out with Happy Gilmore 2, which is going to be on Netflix. Waterboy, arguably the greatest movie of all time. I'm a big guy for Waterboy 2. I want Waterboy 2 to come out, and I want to call it Water Coach. And I want Adam Sandler to find, a younger version of himself, and then Bobby Boucher Jr., he ends up coaching Bobby Boucher Jr., coach the Mud Dogs to another bourbon bowl. Now do ya? And I think that would be an all-time movie. So Waterboy 2, Adam, if you're listening, probably not, but I'd love that to come out with. But needless to say, still happy for Happy Gilmore, if you will. Happy Gilmore 2. It'll be out on Netflix here. I know they're just starting to film, so we'll be looking forward to that. And hey, listen, a crazy stat that I want to share with everybody that I found, and I'm a Jordy Nelson guy, but 21 years ago, the Kansas State walk-on player Jordy Nelson of Riley County High School, and I'm telling this stat because it's state track time, so I want to share a track stat. Jordy Nelson of Riley County High School won the 100, 200, 400, and long jump in AAA. And he still has the AAA 100-meter and 200-meter records. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Jordy Nelson, again, he won the 100, 200, 400, and long jump. What a day. What a day for Jordy. So that was 21 years ago. It also says Nelson would go on to be the All-American at Kansas State and then an All-Pro wide receiver with a Super Bowl ring with the Packers. So just a nice little stat here to get the show rolling. I love Jordy Nelson. Some sad news coming out of TNT. It looks like arguably the greatest broadcast group of all time. I'd put them right next to Fox Sports with Bradshaw and Howie Long and Jimmy Johnson and all those guys. But it looks like the TNT broadcast crew with Shaq, Chuck, Ernie, and Kenny is coming to a close. And that sucks. It really sucks. I know Ernie already came out and said that he's got kind of a lifetime contract, I believe. I could be wrong. But he's got a lifetime contract with TNT or Turner Sports. So there's no way that he's ever going to leave TNT. But Chuck has it. Charles Barkley has it in his contract where if they lose the NBA, he becomes a free agent. So if NBC does pick this up, I'd be interested to see if they bring on Charles Barkley, if they try to get Shaq, Kenny. It's not going to be the same without Ernie. Ernie is the best anchor of all, in my mind, the best. I mean, the dude just keeps that group together like glue. And I'm sure it's not an easy group to keep together. And last but not least, we got NBA playoffs have been amazing. Timberwolves last night won by 45. 45 they won by. Incredible. Game 7 will be Sunday night. So like I said earlier, we'll see how that one goes. The NFL schedule came out, and I'm a big Chiefs fan. And the Chiefs start off with the banner night against the Baltimore Ravens. And then listen to how brutal this schedule is. Listen to this. Ravens at home, Bengals at home. Then they got to go to Atlanta, then to Los Angeles to play the Chargers, and then Saints at home. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised if the Chiefs start 2-2, maybe. I mean, they could easily drop, just like last year when they played the Lions at home on banner night, and they dropped that one to the Lions. Shout out Tony for the 2 muffs that led to a pick 6 and another interception. So the Chiefs, I get it. They're back-to-back champs. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. But that brings me to, don't forget this Wednesday morning to like and subscribe to Swim Lessons, the long-form conversation. We're going to have quarterback Carson Wentz on this Wednesday. Had a really great conversation with him about signing with the Kansas City Chiefs, what it's like to work with Andy Reid, how NFL free agency went for him, and also being in the same quarterback room with Patrick Mahomes. He's went golfing with Patrick a few times already, so they're kind of getting to know each other here before the season really begins, and that's got to be an interesting conversation. But anyways, really appreciate Carson Wentz for coming on the show, and let's get to our guest now. This is Bill Krackman. He's a professional sports bettor. We talked a lot of gambling. This dude is awesome. Follow him on Twitter at Billy Krackman, Krackman. But here is Bill Krackomberger. Hey, hope you guys are all enjoying the show. Ever since 1972, BSN Sports has helped area sports teams look their best as they strive for their goals and dreams. They provide apparel, uniforms, and equipment for teams in nearly every sport. Local service with a national reach. That is BSN Sports. Contact your local BSN Sports representative for more information. BSN Sports is a proud sponsor of Swim Lessons, the podcast. Bill, thanks for taking some time. I appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I know quite a bit about you. I follow you on Twitter, but I want you to give us a little insight here into Bill Krackomberger's life here and tell us how you cultivated this life that you're currently living in Vegas with the gambling lifestyle. Give us a little insight into your life and how you got to where you are today.
Well, I grew up in a gambling family growing up back east. My mother was Italian. Her family, gamblers. We're Italian. We gamble.
Yeah.
It's a rite of passage to be in any. You don't have to be from New York. You can be from Pennsylvania, Chicago. Now it's accepted in the middle of America. But it all started in blue collar, hardworking towns, Ohio, across the Midwest, and it was just like me. I grew up in a family of gamblers, and gambling was a thing we did for enjoyment. But as you get older, you can get yourself in trouble. I grew up by Monmouth Racetrack, so I used to go to the racetrack, casinos, literally playing head-to-head blackjack, pitching quarters, flipping coins. Gambling, like I said, our parents thought it was a harmless vice, and for the most part, I understand how it could be, but it could be very addictive too. So hard to believe I'm talking like that. I'm all about responsible gambling.
Yeah, me too.
So, I try to teach that because I know, they glamorize it now. Everywhere you go to a Yankee Stadium. It's in left field, center field, right field. 3 different sports books. 10, 11, 12-year-old kids, they see it as harmless fun, and next thing you know, they're stealing stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to just sound bad about it. I mean, I know that I made my career on it. I bet sports for a living. That's my number one career. That's what I pay taxes on, betting sports. I've been thrown out of thousands and thousands of bookmakers for using my brain, not doing anything illegal, not doing anything wrong. I'm a sports bettor. So as we speak, I'm down in Florida. I flew from Vegas. That's right. Unbelievable. Flew from Vegas. People think sports betting capital of the world is Las Vegas. Absolutely not true. So I'm down in Florida right now because season wins came up on the NFL, and they're taking 10 times more than any place in the country. First of all, there's only 3 or 4 places in the country that's up. Florida put them up first. So before DraftKings, before FanDuel, somehow they came up here first. Yeah, so I'm here to bet them.
Florida is a wild state. It's kind of anything goes as of late. I love it.
Listen, I was down there a couple weeks ago. I brought $25,000 with me. I bet it on 2 different bets. I mean, literally futures. I said, I got to come back there in a week or so. So here I did pop on a plane, and I'm down here to bet. And I'm down here to get out, too. I'm not really a fan of down here.
Yeah.
I feel like to be real blunt, I just landed at Miami Airport instead of Fort Lauderdale. And I don't even feel like I'm in America. So it's not for me down here. Nothing wrong. I mean, beautiful place. Beaches are great. I'm not a beach guy. I'm not a humidity guy. I'm not a bug guy. So, yeah. That's about it.
He is Bill Krackomberger. You can find him on Twitter at Bill Krack Crackman. Bill Crackman. Hey, Bill, when you on your Twitter, when you're walking around Vegas, you give us these cool insights on what machines are hitting, what isn't hitting. And one of the things I really like is you call out, well, not necessarily call out, but you're like, guys, I know some of these big parlays hit, but it necessarily isn't always like that. They're just showing you the winners. There's a lot more losers. Where did you get that idea from? And when you're walking around, how do you know which machines are hitting in these kind of hole-in-the-wall casinos?
I'm an advantage gambler. So when I go in a casino, I look at things different than many people. I look at video poker progressives. I look at the machines that are actual, they have progressives on them, and they're advantage machines. They're bonus machines that they hit at a certain time, and I depend on other people building them up and walking away, and for me to just jump on and hit one of the bonuses. But that's not I'm not a guy that sits behind someone and stands behind them and waits till they get off the machine. I made up a word there called them sour rooters, and it's got millions and millions of views because they are. They're sour, they're mad, they're rooting against you. So hey, they're sour rooters. So I know them because I'm friends with some other guys too. My friend Randy McKay. I'm friends with a guy on the computer there on Twitter named T-Bone. He knows all these things. They're very smart. I've been advantage playing machines, though, even before I met Randy. Back in Atlantic City, they had such thing as overpayers back in the 90s, and machines that would pay you too much. And I'm always looking for edges. I'm always looking for edges over the casinos and sports books. And it's one of the reasons why I do get thrown out. I use my brain. They want suckers. They want people to come in there that are just mindless, having fun, or they think they're having fun. And that's just not me. I treat it as a business, and I look at things much differently. As far as parlays go, listen, it's hard for these new guys coming up. They new people to Twitter and to social media and stuff. They see not only do they see the big companies advertising their big parlay winners, now they see the kids on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, they're all advertising their winners.
Yep.
Oh, look what I did for $10. Look what I did for $20. What you don't see is the millions and millions and millions of dollars that are tickets that are losers, tickets that are getting people in trouble, same game parlays that are sucker bets. You're not seeing all these things. All you're seeing is what they want you to see to make you into a gambler, to actually cultivate new gamblers, to make it look like it's easy. Listen, I've been thrown out of almost every single major legal sports book even. So they throw me out for one thing, for using my brain. So unfortunately, it's a shame. Now I play with I give other people plays to put in. I have to beard in. Now they don't know it's Bill Krackomberger. They don't know it's me. And we get thrown out. And what do? We come back in under a brand new name, getting a brand new bonus, getting a new brand new account. They don't know it's Bill Krackomberger again. Instead of taking a $500 or $1,000 bet, now it's going to take them a month or two to decide, oh, this guy's pretty sharp, and throw him out. Instead of just taking a bet from me and moving when you're supposed to. So,
well, let's test that big brain right now. I want to talk NBA playoffs with you. I want to talk what's been going on lately. Obviously, a few of these series have been close. There's been some big ones, but I was listening to you on a podcast, and a big thing that you've been hitting lately are player prop bets, and I'm a big fan of those as well. Nikola Jokic has made me quite a bit of money. What are your thoughts on player prop bets, and why do you like them?
Listen, I've been around the sharpest sports betting gambling syndicates in the world the last 30 years. I don't know anyone that can beat NBA sides. I have the greatest access to square lines in Vegas with coast stations, maybe even the Wynn or casinos that have edges. South Point, and where they'll move a half a point there, here and there. I have lots of different options, and I hardly even beat NFL sides. I mean, NFL, NBA, hardest things to beat. I'm not looking to gamble. I'm not looking to bet what everyone else bets, which is ironed out, which every single media source covers. So that means it's a good line. I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to steal, in a matter of words. I'm looking to bet player props, things that aren't looked at as much. I'm looking to bet small market stuff. matchups, golf matchups, things that aren't looked at as much as NBA sides and NFL sides.
Do you have a prop bet that you are looking at that you could share with us?
Hold on. Let me see. I know I bet some things today, but
No worries.
let me just see what I have. The reason why I'm taking so long, guys, is because
Oh, you're good. Don't worry.
Yeah.
It's all good.
All right, let's see what we put out here. I know I did. You said joke. I know I put something. All right, Denver assist. Jokic over 8.5 minus 120. Also bet some golf matchups, like Matsuyama over Spieth. So I bet Matsuyama minus 105 over Spieth. Whoever finishes lower shoots better for the week at the golf. Big tournament at the PGA this week. So,
yep.
There's a couple of plays for your guys.
Yeah, appreciate that. We're going to play a little bit, Bill, if you would, of yes and no. All you have to do is reply yes. I'm going to bring up some futures that I like. I'm a big NFL guy. I know you talked a little bit about futures in the NFL.
Yeah,
I'm going to name off.
I'm down here to bet them, actually. So
I'm going to name.
That's what I'm down here to bet. So are we a live show? Are we giving out stuff live?
No, we're recorded, and I can edit whatever out we don't want. But
no, only because I didn't bet these yet. I'm betting lots of money on my season wins. I don't want to jump ahead of me and move the line. I just traveled 4 hours on a plane to bet these.
No, you're good. So, the show won't come out until Monday morning. So
perfect.
So we're good.
I'll be happy to tell you everything.
Okay, so we'll start out now. Okay, Bill, I'm gonna give you yes or no. All you got to answer is yes, meaning they will make the playoffs. No, meaning they won't. The Arizona Cardinals plus 330. Yes or no?
I would say no. I hate laying that, but I would say no.
Buffalo Bills, yes or no? No plus 240.
Boy, I don't want to sound like a sucker laying a lot of wood, but you can lay wood on certain things. Not like years ago, but the public likes to lay wood.
Yeah,
I'm going to have to go yes with that too. Go ahead.
Chicago Bears even money. Yes minus 122. No even.
Yes.
Cleveland Browns. Yes plus 175. No minus 222.
A nice dog there. I would say yes.
Dallas Cowboys. Yes minus 227. No plus 180.
Listen, this team beats me every year betting futures on them. Give me the no. Frig them.
Here is an interesting one, Bill. I really want to get your insight. The NFC North is very interesting. The Green Bay Packers. Yes, minus 189. No, plus 150.
Since this comes out Monday, I'll tell you, absolutely no. I'm betting season. I bet season wins twice down here against them. Under 10.5 wins. I'm going to say no and take some juice there.
Here's a team with two different quarterbacks. They just got Justin Fields, also Russell Wilson. Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, plus 220. No, minus 287.
I'm going to say the no on that because everyone else is saying yes. I look to bet against the public more than anything else. So, I'm going to say the no there.
Tennessee Titans. Very interesting team. They just plucked one of my favorite defensive players, L'Jarius Sneed, from the Chiefs. The Titans. The Titans are plus 605 for yes, minus 1,000 for no. Your thoughts on the Titans?
I can't lay minus 1,000 on anything.
No.
So if anything, the no is the proper bet. If anything, you can't lay that because of injuries and stuff. So the no would be the bet.
Your home team, the Las Vegas Raiders, are plus 300 yes, minus 400 no. Your thoughts on the Raiders making the playoffs?
Well, listen, it is my home team, but I have no allegiance. After the game's over, I couldn't care what the players do, and off the field, I don't care about nothing. My allegiance is my bankroll only. What line are you giving me? 400 minus 400 on the. Did you say 400?
No, on the Raiders, it is minus 400 no, plus 300 yes.
Oh, man, I hate to lay 4-1. I thought you said 4-1. I'm gonna have to go no.
Do you pay any attention to WNBA at all?
We haven't done that. I couldn't tell you anything about that. We will bet some stuff there, but I don't have any futures on that per se.
When you look at, are you what you said you're kind of a golf guy, but do you also is NFL kind of one of your major points in your gambling career?
I love golf. Has been really, really good to me, good to my guys over the last decade. I travel with the tour a lot. I go to the Masters. I go to a couple different tournaments. Yeah, I have a really good connection for a lot of the PGA Tour. But I was tough on the NFL because over the years, always saying the NFL because it's such a tough thing to beat.
Yeah.
But however, I will tell you, I've done very well, extremely well on the NFL last year. And the last couple of years, really, but last year was really good. So golf and the NFL, anything that I've been winning, anything I went on, I want to say that's what I favor. So college football was great last year. College now, just to let you know, I'm always an open book. I'm honest. College basketball, not as good. I didn't lose, but I didn't win. Nobody won that I know. So it's that tough. So NFL props is what I'm referring to. Has been very good. Very good to me.
Who do you like early on? And it's very early on, so I'm not going to hold this against you if it's wrong, but who do you like in the Super Bowl? Obviously, the Chiefs opening up as the winner. Right now with the lines, I don't have a current line on that, but who do you like to make a run? I kind of like Miami, but that's
I just seen the lines. I just seen these lines. They're these futures. I mean, they're ridiculous. How can you bet on KC at 5-1 or it's just not. I don't like any futures per se. I'm doing the over/under season wins. That I do enjoy doing. But as far as a future goes, I'm not real big on a future. A future market because there's so much juice in it.
Oh gosh!
That being said, before I left Las Vegas today, though, I actually bet Mahomes to be the MVP plus 7-1. So
I like that.
Yeah, well, 7-1's a little bit too high. I thought for Mahomes to be the MVP. Listen, I threw a quarter of a unit on it, but I thought that was an interesting one. Also, a coach of the year. I bet. Let me see. You know what? It's on my phone. Let me just see.
Who'd you take?
I don't want to give you the wrong odds.
Real quick, Kansas City over under 11.5 wins. What are you hammering there?
I bet under every year and I lose. So
gosh, 11.5, 12 wins is a lot in the NFL.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. The public's all going over, so I'll look to go under. Okay, so I bet Matt Everfuse. I bet I bet the coach. I bet the Bears coach to be the coach of the year.
Ooh.
So I just thought 15-1 was too high. I found that. I thought it was a pretty good bet. So I'm giving more out on your stuff than I gave out to anyone else. So
real quick, Chicago Bears 8.5. Are you liking the over or the under 8.5 wins? That's an interesting one.
I mean, if I'm saying he's going to be the coach of the year,
ever the over.
I hate that. I didn't bet the over. But I do think he has a good chance to be the coach of the year. So I'd have to say over just based on you saying that number.
Shifting gears a little bit, how great is the Masters? I've heard only great things. Is it all it's cracked out to be?
I actually did VSiN live from the Masters. It was really cool. And it's really cool to go there and see it. It's just so overpriced. They busted out. They can't let the average Joe go there. Hotels just to stay in Motel 6 is $600 a night. It's ridiculous.
What?
And by the way, outside of Augusta, outside of the golf course, it's just a little country town. Mm-hmm. There is no fancy hotels, but they rack up the rate. They make all their money. Listen, I have great connections, fantastic connections for tickets, and it cost me $8,000 just to go for 4 days.
Oh my goodness!
Well, it's going to cost everyone that,
right?
I'm getting tickets for $500 a day, which is really I mean, they sell them for $10,000 for a Masters 4-day badge. I get them a nickel a day between the hotel, food, travel expenses, rental car, airlines, $8,000.
Oh my goodness! One of the stories that you told that I thought was amazing, and I'm making it applicable to my life, is you went and watched the Rolling Stones live, and you were talking about Ticketmaster and how they're in bed with all these other ticket companies that not necessarily the public knows. You were looking at a ticket in. What was it? Top 5 rows? Was it really close?
You really follow me. Yeah, I went. I went the other night, Saturday, to the Rolling Stones, but I do the same thing every single show. So I'll get the prices now to see what they are in the secondary market. And literally, I sat in section A2, which was right behind the pit, the standing pits. I'm not going to stand for 3 hours. Right behind I had literally A2, row 1, seat 1, 2, 3, and 4. Those seats were like $5-6 grand. I mean, they're out of their minds. I waited till 3 hours before showtime. I had 4 or 5 different sections and seats circled on my. I got the ones I wanted. They're the ones I wanted. I got them for $750 each. $3,000 I paid for 4 seats. It sounds like a lot, but face value on the ticket's $495. So it really wasn't that bad to be in the first row. I got unbelievable videos. I did a live thing on my Twitter just so you could see where I sat. And listen, they're all in bed with each other. The Ticketmaster, they own StubHub, which is ridiculous. The average Joe, the fans try to buy tickets the day when they're being available. They go on their computer and the countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's total BS. BS. Tickets are all gone already because Ticketmaster's giving them to the brokers. They're all in bed with each other. Just like the baseball card companies, they're in bed with the grading companies. It's all BS. There's a ton of BS going on. The public really is being milked for a lot of different things in life. People are fed of it. We need a change, and hopefully we get that coming up here in the next election too. By the way,
I agree 100%. How was the Rolling Stone show?
They shocked me. I watched the first 2 shows on YouTube from Houston to Arizona. I mean, they were okay, but they're 80. They're allowed to be okay.
Yeah.
Well, that night Mick was on. Mick was running up and down the center stage. I mean, he's 80 years old. He's doing all-out sprints. Keith came out. He really didn't move more than 10 feet from where he was from the whole show, 5 feet. But I mean, this is a guy that gets blood transfusions every year. I mean, it's amazing. It's a miracle that he's alive. He came out and he moved over up by us for a second. I got a couple good shots of him. They're an amazing band. They played great that night. They played some surprise songs, like a Rolling Stone. They were fantastic. It's about 20 times I've seen them. Absolutely love the Stones.
Do you think you can do that last minute trick with like NFL, NBA games as well, or do you think it's more tailored towards concerts?
No, I don't go to games. I have no interest in you wouldn't believe, I'm embarrassed to say it, I get free tickets to mostly every single Las Vegas Raiders game. I get tickets to every game. I go to one a year. I host a Fox show, Fox Sports Radio on the weekends, and it's nationwide, 512 networks. It's so tough after prepping for a show, doing a 3-hour show, and then going to a game. It's really tough for me. But if I was to buy the tickets, I'd buy them last minute too. I really would. You got to work now. Not Las Vegas, because Las Vegas sells out because we're really a stadium that favors the road team. People plan their trips around. Like, people are already asking me, hey, the Browns are coming to Vegas. Can you get me tickets? People plan their trips around coming to Vegas. You'll see more road teams jerseys a lot than home teams. So, but as far as other games around the country and stuff, people don't have that kind of money to pay these secondary market fees people are asking for.
Right.
They get scared last minute. So I would hold them. I would hold off till and see what you can get last minute buying seats. So
how was this?
Make sure you don't get robbed too. From make sure you're going through one of the secondary market. I went through a thing called Tick Picks. I don't know who owns it. They have no fees. But I'll go through StubHub once in a while too. And listen, I got first row when the Yankees were in San Diego on StubHub for $45 each. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, last minute, $45 each. I couldn't believe it.
How was the Super Bowl last year in Vegas?
It was crazy. It was a crazy time. I didn't go. I'm not going to go to the game. I'm going to be home where I can make money. I'm not looking to spend thousands of dollars on seats. And that game, I couldn't get free seats too. So a couple casinos give away seats, but I'm not that kind of player in the casino. I mean, if they count me as sports, sure. I mean, I bet giant money on the weekends. But it was great. It was a great time. I won some money, and it was a good opportunity for some props and stuff around town. And betting against the public is what I do, and public bets over on everything I bet under, so it was okay.
He's Bill Krackomberger. You can find him on Twitter at Bill Crackman. That's Krackman. Bill, where other spots can people find you? I know you got the podcast. You just mentioned the Fox show, but what are some other good plugs so people can?
Podcast, Fox, Instagram, where I don't even handle my assistant handles my Instagram. But hold on, let me. Oh, it's at Crack Wins. I didn't even know. At KRACKWINS on Instagram. About 36,000 followers on there. I approve everything that goes on there. So, Yeah, no, it's fun. I like helping the public more than anything. I get my highs off of that. I don't drink, smoke, or do drugs. I get my highs out of beating bookmakers, making floor people sweat in the casino, make the casino execs sweat like it's their money coming out of their pocket, and trying to help people. That's what I do.
Hey, I appreciate you, and hopefully we can do this again. But Bill, it was a true honor to talk to you today, and thank you very much, and good luck this weekend in Florida.
Anytime, my friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Hey, Swim Less listeners, I think you'll like this next one. I know I love them, and it's PSP Network. It's game day, promoting local athletes since the beginning of time, basically. Nick Holberg and his team do a fantastic job with PSP Network, and they are right now in the heart of baseball and softball season, so make sure you check out their schedule of events on their website. That's psp.network, or on YouTube at PSP Network. Shout out PSP, and shout out Nick Holberg, Sportscaster of the Year here in this great state of North Dakota. Dex, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Dude, that was an interesting story about Scotty. I mean, he got in a little trouble. Didn't look like it was really his fault, but obviously something bad happened. I mean, what have you heard?
Yeah, just one of those crazy mornings in the sports world where, obviously unfortunate circumstances that somebody was injured in a car accident. And really with these crazy PGA courses, there's really only one way in or out. And so, you got Scotty Scheffler getting booked into LMPD. You got Cam Young and Will Zalatoris walking a mile or so to get into the course and make their tee time. So it's been a wild morning. That was a fun ESPN watch, that's for sure.
Well, how about he's 6'3" and weighs 170? Dude, he's a skinny cat. I'm 6.
You gotta stay lean to swing those clubs.
That's right. He's Dexter Werner. You can find him on Twitter at Dex, DEXBZBEEZY. Dex, you were covering NDSU basketball this past year. Obviously, for people that don't know, you had a great career with North Dakota State basketball. What did you take from this past year? You were the color commentator, and you obviously watched quite a bit of their games. What did you take away from this past year for Bison basketball?
Yeah, it was just one of those seasons where a lot of ups and downs for those guys. Just couldn't quite get things to click the way they were hoping for, but still got themselves into a decent position heading into the conference tournament down in Sioux Falls, and fell a little short, dropped that first round game. And obviously when you're affiliated with NDSU basketball and you spend a lot of time around the fans and the community here, there's high expectations for NDSU athletics. And so, having that shortfall to finish the season is always tough to see. But, then you also got to turn around and remind people that, I don't even remember off the top of my head, but NDSU's played in like 5 of the last 7 championship games or something like that on Tuesday nights down in Sioux Falls. And so, it's going to happen once every, 7-8 years. There's going to be a season where it doesn't go quite as well at the finish as you're hoping for. And so, I think that just kind of speaks to the level that I've seen NDSU rise to, throughout the couple of years leading into my career, and then throughout my career and up until today, is that, that expectation isn't to go win a championship and then reload and try to do it in 5 years. The expectation is that, we're going to try to compete for a championship every single year. And so I think that is the positive that you can take away from it, is just the fact that, it's not brushed off as, oh, that's okay, we've made a bunch of championships. It's that, how do we keep finding ways to get back here consistently? And that's what NDSU has done a really good job of the last 10 years. What's your relationship like with Coach Richmond? It's been great. Obviously I played for Coach Richmond my whole career. He was an assistant my first 2 years, and then I was there for his first 3 years under his head coach tenure. And we've gotten really close over the last, 4 or 5 years, being removed from the team as an athlete, and then being back in the community, being around Fargo, and then, spending 4 years as the color commentator. I've gotten to spend a lot more time with him, and, kind of see that a relationship transition from coach and player to, 2 adults hanging out and talking hoops and having a good history together. So it's been really great to spend time around Coach Richmond. I know he doesn't take how their season finished last year lightly either. And I'm excited to see what he does for the reload coming up next year.
Well, I know I'm going to be bugging you for tickets this upcoming season because North Dakota State just signed Rob Stefanowitz's son, Andy Stefanowitz. Rob played basketball up here at Divide County, was a Mr. Basketball, arguably the best basketball player to come out of Crosby. And Andy Stefanowitz out of Wayzata is a phenomenal player. Looks like he's going to be like maybe a 2-guard for the Bison, but that's yet to be determined. Do you know much about Andy, and what can you tell us about what Bison fans are looking forward to when it comes to the Stefanowitz kid?
Yeah, I haven't gotten to watch him play a ton, obviously, just with the busy season surrounding NDSU. But, you look at the pedigree from the family line coming into play, and obviously he had an extremely successful high school career. Taller kid, athletic, and played multiple positions on the wing, I'm assuming. And, he's going to have that. You assume he's going to have that NDSU mentality of kind of playing some tough, gritty, hard-nosed basketball, and I think that'll be a really good addition to this team. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. And you're a Timberwolves guy. I've been paying a lot of attention to the playoffs last night. The T-Wolves looked fantastic. They won by 45. Game 7 will now be Sunday night, I believe, in Denver. I'm just looking at tickets right now, Dex, and we can go and have decent seats for $775, about 80 rows up from center court. We going?
We can discuss it. Yeah, we got to figure out how we're getting to Denver, but there's always some decent options. That might still be in play.
What have you thought about that series? It's been wild. It's like almost every game is a blowout. There's been a few close ones, but it seems like it's been double point victories for both sides.
Yeah, and I think that's interesting when they're really evenly matched teams, right? I think that they match up with each other really well. So when you look at a game or a matchup like that, and you see it's going to Game 7, you think that you've had 6 nail biters up to this point. But I think whoever comes out of Game 7, that was my pick for to go on and win the championship this year in the NBA. I've said I think whoever comes out of this Denver and Minnesota series is going to win it. They just have really good contributors all across the board, and they both have the 2 big guys. They're 2 stars. With Denver, they have Jamal Murray and Jokic, and then with Minnesota, they have Edwards and Towns, and then they have all their contributors. Right, you got the Michael Porter Juniors, the Goberts. They have all these guys that are stepping up into like their contributing roles, playing really high level basketball. And so I think those are the 2 best teams in the league right now that are playing, the best basketball 1 through 7 on their lineups.
Kyle Anderson for the T-Wolves, I can't stand watching. He's like a bootleg version of Sean Livingston. Like, dude, he just has the weirdest shot and throws the ball away, but he's kind of one of those role players. And it seems like when the Wolves are playing well, he plays well, and he's kind of one of those glue guys almost, if you will.
Yeah, that's exactly why you and I aren't NBA GMs, right? Dallas,
right.
You look at a guy like Kyle Anderson, you're like, what's going on? Why is this guy out there? But, you need guys like that too. We like to call him a glue guy that just kind of keeps the team together and keeps them moving forward. So, it's working for him. They got Conley's playing really well. I've been really impressed with even guys like Alexander Walker, Jaden McDaniels, and Naz Reid hasn't had a great series, but obviously he had a really good season, getting 6th man of the year. So, obviously being from more around here, I'm pulling for the Timberwolves. My guy LeBron's out, Lakers are done, so I'm all in on the Timberwolves train, and I'm hoping Game 7 will be a good one. Where's
LeBron James going to end up this offseason?
Yeah, we'll see. There's a lot of politics coming into play there. I don't think it's as clear cut as it seems. That there seems to be the narrative that if Bronny goes somewhere, LeBron's going with. Mm-hmm. And, I kind of have this underlying feeling that you can kind of get that narrative out there, get your son into the league, and then you can turn around and say, I want to let my son do his own thing. I'm not going there.
Right.
So yeah. I honestly think that's what's going to happen. I think that I personally think he's making some moves in LA. I'm guessing JJ Redick's going to end up as the head coach of the Lakers. That's my pick.
Yeah.
And then LeBron's going to kind of be able to, shape that team how he wants to in their play style. And I know a lot of people aren't a fan of it, but at this point, the guy's pushing 40. He's watched more basketball than anybody else in the league. And he's going to kind of try to build the team the way he wants on his way out these last couple of years. So I think it'll be interesting. I'm guessing he ends up back in LA though. That's my pick.
Yeah, no, I just thought it was interesting how he went to the Cavs game, and I know that they've got a young, nice nucleus there as well, but maybe he returns home and retires in Cleveland. You just don't know. And I know there's a lot of talk about Atlanta because they've got some draft picks there and they might pick up Bronny and then he could go there. But like you said, there's just a lot of politics. Keeping it within the NBA, we've got a game tomorrow night, Mavericks Thunder. Mavericks are up 3-2 right now. When this comes out on Monday, we'll know what happened. But what are your thoughts on that Mavericks Thunder series? Because the Thunder, obviously the 1 seed, have struggled a little bit. Kyrie Irving's playing out of his mind. Luka Doncic is playing out of his mind. Mavericks are now making a push, and they could find themselves in the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, I tend to lean towards picking a team like Dallas to come out of that series just because Oklahoma City's so young, right? Yeah. And they're one of the youngest teams to ever secure the 1 seed. They've been highly efficient throughout the season. And then I think now as we get into the playoffs, you kind of see that next level of basketball, and the vets kind of cranking it up to that next level. And I think, not to keep touching on them, but to go back to the Lakers, I think they're the perfect example. They battled their way out of the play-in season the last 2 years. Unfortunately, drew Denver in the first round this year, but last year they're playing in the Western Conference Finals against Denver, and they came out, the bottom 4 seeds in the conference. So I think the NBA has changed a little bit now where, these good teams that have some older veterans, like, I think of the Lakers and the Warriors with Steph Curry, and more currently, the Mavericks with Luka and Kyrie, who Luka's obviously young, but he's been doing it for a few years now. These guys are these good teams aren't trying to go get, 65, 70 wins. Right. Like we've seen with some other really good teams in the past. They're not trying to crank out as many regular season wins as they can. They're just trying to be playing their best basketball come playoff time. And I think we've seen a really elevated Dallas team, and they're playing well against Oklahoma. And I think they're just a little too young this year. So I'm taking Mavericks coming out of that series.
He's Dexter Werner, North Dakota State Bison basketball color commentator. You can find him on Twitter at Dex Breezy. Dex, looking forward now a little bit more with that Pacers-Knicks series. Talking about a young team, Pacers obviously made a run there. Knicks are banged up a lot, but Jalen Brunson's playing well. What are your thoughts on that one so far?
Yeah, I mean, I think all the series have been really entertaining so far, and I think those games that have been in Madison Square Garden have been really interesting to watch. The Knicks are just so good at home; the whole city gets behind those games, and just kind of one of those same things. I think the Knicks have been a little bit more consistent. Jalen Brunson's playing at a really high level, and again, if I had to make a pick, I'm taking the Knicks to come out of that one, but Indiana's pretty good too. They're a little streaky, but they've had some really good games, and I've seen them look really bad. So it's kind of one of those things where I feel like with these NBA games, if I watch like the first 10 minutes or the first half and kind of see where it's at, you kind of know which version of those teams you're going to get, and I think it's pretty easy to pick a winner in the first half.
This past year on Bison 1660 AM was Sam Niederman. He was the voice of the football Bison and the basketball Bison. You worked hand in hand with him. What were your thoughts on Sam in his first year being with the Bison, and looking forward? How did you like working with Sam?
Yeah, I think Sam's a great guy. Obviously, we got to spend a ton of time together this year calling games, and I think the thing I really respect about a guy like Sam is that he just really he's dedicated to mastering his craft and putting his best product out there that he possibly can. And, I told him multiple times throughout the year that it was hard for me to remember that he was, 25 going on 26.
Right.
He's a young guy, but he just carries himself very maturely, works really hard, and he took it very seriously coming in and starting the role. So I love the work that he's done this year. He's just going to keep getting better, in my opinion. And I think he had an awesome first season, and it should be a good second one coming up.
Coach Polasek just got hired by North Dakota State, coming over from Wyoming. He was the offensive coordinator there. He was the quarterbacks coach as well at North Dakota State a couple of years back when Craig Bull was there. What do you think about the Coach Polasek hire for North Dakota State, and what do you expect the Bison football program to do this fall?
Yeah, I think it's going to be very similar to the basketball team, right, Dallas, where we're going to be looking for a bounce back season out of those guys. And, same thing, even though they didn't have a terrible year, it wasn't necessarily up to the standard that NDSU holds them at. And I'm really excited to have Coach Polasek back. I knew him when he was at NDSU because that was when I was playing basketball. And so I was around him a little bit when he was on the staff. I really like him. He's got that old school football coach to him,
intense.
Right? And,
Very intense.
I've seen him around this year at a few different events, and I kind of like to correlate him to Dan Campbell, the head coach from the Lions.
Oh,
right?
yeah. That's perfect.
That's
comparison.
my tie. Just like, kind of
that's perfect.
More old school, tough nosed guy. Yeah. And for some reason, I think there's a lot of different coaching styles out there that work. I've played for a lot of different coaches, and, I kind of tend to resort back to, the Polaseks, the Coach Richmonds, the Steve Millers and at Bismarck High School, the guys, the Coach Gibsons on the football side, right? Mm-hmm. The guys that are going to, get in your face and be really intense and request the best out of you every single time you step on the court or the field. But then at the end of the day, that they still have your best interest in mind. And so I think personally, that's what I've always responded to really well in coaching. And, I'm excited to see what Coach Polasek can do with those guys this year.
Well, listen, Dex, I appreciate the time. You're a good friend of mine, and I'm looking forward to this fall, hopefully make it down to a Bison football game and hanging out with you. And then, of course, basketball, keep it in touch. But thanks again for coming on the show, and appreciate you, and we'll see you down the road.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
I've had the pleasure of working for these guys, and hey, podcast listeners, you're going to want to follow these guys on YouTube. That is Game Day Media, more than a game. Your leader in live sports coverage in Northwest North Dakota. At Game Day Media, our goal is to expose student athletes, support, and promote the best athletes that North Dakota has to offer. Subscribe to Game Day Media ND on YouTube and find them on Facebook. That's Game Day Media, and follow them to find schedules, quick links to games, and stats. Enable alerts, and make sure you watch for upcoming events that Game Day Media has. Again, Game Day Media, more than a game. Hey, Nathan, thanks for coming on the show today. Greatly appreciate it.
No problem, man.
How have things been going? I know you've been spending some time down at Turf Paradise, a beautiful track. You live in Tucson, right?
I actually don't. I only go there for college. My real home is North Carolina.
Oh, okay. Have you been to Turf Paradise lately, or what has been going on there?
So the last time I went to Turf Paradise was about April. I did 2 guest call races in early March around that time period, and then I went to the track 1 or 2 more times. Then I had to focus on finals, and I flew back to North Carolina, where my home is. So yeah, I went to Turf Paradise about just under 5 to 8 times this semester, especially on Mondays to kind of escape the burden of classes.
Yeah,
it was worth it.
Oh yeah, it's a beautiful track. Beautiful track. Is there anything better, Nathan? You and I have this in common. I've called a couple horse races. You called a couple. Is there anything better in the world than calling a horse race?
I haven't found it yet. It is truly a mixture of everything that I enjoy about this world, especially in how I like to express myself. Yeah. Because truly the ultimate goal for my life is to be talking to people about horses running in circles. So that fits the adequate job description. And I've always enjoyed, in general, entertainment, cinema, voice acting, the theatricality of everything. So I like that sort of mixture. Of course, race colors usually don't need to be theatrical. It's more of a professional job of getting the horse across the line. Yeah. But there's so many different ways to do it. It is, a real voice commentating, just acting job to some extent.
Oh, 100%. It's such a thrill, and the better the race is, the better I get. I guess I could contest that. Tell us a little bit about University of Arizona and what you're going to college for, because I find it very interesting. They have a horse racing industry type thing, and I always want to make it down to that symposium for the University of Arizona to hopefully meet up with you guys. But tell us a little bit about that, and give us a quick plug for the racetrack industry program.
Okay, so the racetrack industry program is the only one of its kind in all of America. It is a 4-year college program that gives you a major and an emphasis in, they call it an emphasis in racetrack industry, but in reality, you are majoring in the sport of horse racing, and you are taking classes about the horse racing industry over the course of 4 years. Mm-hmm. It's the only place that you could ever get a bachelor's degree in the sport of horse racing. And if that interests you, then you need to go. Or if you can afford it, of course. College is expensive. But that is what it offers, and nowhere else in the United States is that offered. There are similar programs sort of like it, but nothing quite as straightforward and full college experience as that. Classes, field trips, volunteerships, helping you with internships, even when you're not there. They are your guardian angels through 4 years, making sure that you meet all the figureheads of horse racing and whatever you want to do. Just because I'm a racetrack announcer doesn't mean that you can't go to the RTIP to do something else. In fact, only like 1 or 2 other people have done what I've done. People have become vets, secretaries. Every job you can think of in horse racing, you can learn by taking classes there.
I love it. Maybe I should come down there for a little bit.
It's not too late, dude.
Yeah.
There have been multiple students who reapplied and did abridged college degrees for 2 years, or like we had someone from South Korea who was running a racetrack down there and creating a 4th track in that country, fly down here with us and do a year and really get to see the full American way of running horse racing. And he was a father with 2 kids, and so it really is not too late.
Yeah, heck yeah. He's Nathan Klein. You can find him on Twitter at Nathan the Caller. Nathan, let's get down to brass taxes, if you will, here. The Kentucky Derby, amazing race. Obviously, we had, for people that don't know it, Mystic Dan ran a fantastic race. He's at 5-2 right now going into the Preakness. When this comes out, the Preakness will be over. This comes out on Monday morning. But what are your thoughts on down the stretch when those 2 outside horses were kind of battling against each other, if you will, and the jockey on the outside horse obviously was trying to get his horse to get in the right lead, whatever the case might be? What was your thoughts? Because people outside of racing were really upset, saying, the outside horse took the inside horse out of the race. What did you see, and what were your thoughts?
Well, that's to be expected, because the Kentucky Derby is a rare time for horse racing to break out of just the horse racing sphere, which means that new people get to see it. A lot of people are curious and don't necessarily know the rules of racing. And some people, unfortunately, with big mouths will also say a lot while also only watching 1 horse race a year. That's just par for the course. But I know a lot of people were genuinely curious about that. It's just race riding. Sierra Leone, as a racehorse, the horse on the far outside, was always known to be a horse who couldn't keep a straight path.
Yes.
He always cut it across. He always had a tendency to cut across the track on the outside when he would race. Insanely talented, but he's a 3-year-old horse, and he's definitely displaying that. And I don't think Gaffleone was trying to do anything dirty. I think he just didn't really know what he was supposed to do, or couldn't do anything besides accidentally get the horse to bump.
Right.
I think he was genuinely trying his best, and that's why his hands extended and touched Forever Young, because he was trying really hard to encourage the horse to the other side. And to outsiders, it looked like a possibly dirty ride. I think that it really was just bad luck. Sierra Leone on another day, if he had his sights focused on Mystic Dan, would have won the Kentucky Derby or Forever Young. But what happened was they made their moves at about the same time, and Sierra Leone was unable to keep a straight path and bumped into Forever Young. And by doing that, they cost themselves just 1 stride too many and lost a 3-horse photo finish to a horse with a perfect trip.
No, that's spot on. That's exactly how it was summed up. Looking now at the Preakness, there's a horse that I want to talk to you about because I'm a big Dwayne Lucas fan. Seize the Gray. Seize the Gray just won the Pat Day Mile 2 weeks ago. He's got the 6-hole right next to Mystic Dan. Right now, he's on the board at 15-1. Do you have a horse in there, kind of like I have, Seize the Gray? Obviously, this field is a lot smaller than the Kentucky Derby, but what are your thoughts on the Preakness, and what can you tell us about a horse that you might have in mind?
If it's a main horse that I would pick, I'm leaning towards Catching Freedom as my horse. I think that Catching Freedom could really fly down the stretch. Now, there is definitely going to be some worry about if he'll have enough pace to close into, and that is totally fair. But I think that based off of talent, Brad Cox is not the guy to ambitiously put horses in after 2 weeks. Right. So he must have saw something in Catching Freedom that made him say, I can have a chance of doing this, because he had no obligation to try the Preakness, but they decided to anyway. And Brad Cox doesn't seem necessarily like someone who is bound by tradition, because Mandaloon skipped the Preakness. Right. I know he wasn't the winner at the time, but when he finished second, they could have tried that, but they didn't. But clearly he sees something different in Catching Freedom. Another horse, and when this episode comes out, people can definitely laugh at me if this doesn't work, but I'm gonna lean towards Uncle Heavy if the track stays not too fast, because I think that there is a chance that this horse could really fly late and get something. He likes non-fast tracks. And people put way too much emphasis on the Wood Memorial, because he literally was right next to a horse who clipped heels and did a front flip.
Right.
That's going to hinder your performance. I don't care who you are. You're not going to run your best that day. I don't think he would have won otherwise, but that, I think, means you can X that out.
What about Mystic Dan? 5-2 right now. Obviously won the Kentucky Derby with a very gritty effort. Thoughts on Mystic Dan?
With the absence of Moose, 100% he could definitely win the Preakness. Just like any horse who has just won the Kentucky Derby, there's always a chance. And some horses run better as they progress through the Triple Crown, especially the best Triple Crown horses. They only get better. Mystic Dan, he'll appreciate the slightly slower distance, because he was really begging for that finish line and was the benefactor of a lot of things to win the 1.25 mile Kentucky Derby. He already failed off a 2-week layoff as a 2-year-old, but but there are excuses, as that was a transition from a sprint to a mile race. And he was also a younger 2-year-old. He'll appreciate the lack of distance. He will appreciate whatever surface. He can win on anything, it seems like. He could definitely pull it off, but the big thing is that he's yet to run 2 good races. So the question is, was the Kentucky Derby so good that he's truly becoming a new animal and can pull out frequent, repeat grade 1 performances?
Right.
I'm not so sure yet.
Yeah, me neither. And the one that I found interesting, and I know Chad Brown is one of the best trainers in the business, and he's won the Preakness before a couple times, I believe, but Tuscan Gold, 8-1. And kind of got that outside of a 10, well, now a 9-horse field. Tuscan Gold might be there too. I mean, Chad Brown doesn't just train slugs. This could be a good horse as well.
He's the Tuscan Gold is the super smart horse. Yeah. There's no way around it. He's trained by a guy who has historically, in the last 6 years, won multiple Preakness Stakes, and even last year nearly won the Preakness by only a neck. To National Treasure with Blazing Sevens. So he nearly won it last year with a horse kind of like this.
Right.
He's more specifically, he's won the Preakness with a horse with as few starts as Tuscan Gold, because Cloud Computing also ran 3 times, had only 1 victory, and his 2 defeats were in Stakes Company, just like Tuscan Gold. So that's not going to be an issue. Chad Brown can do this. I could totally see it, but I'm mostly just trying to be a contrarian. Everyone already knows that this horse is spectacular. I want to see if something different can happen this Preakness, and I will eat my words if history decides to repeat itself, and I'm okay with that.
Favorite horse of all time, Nathan? Who you got for me? I know on Twitter you Seabiscuit. That's arguably the best movie. As well, best movie.
It's my favorite movie of all time. It's one of the easiest deals that I've ever had as both a horse racing person and a cinephile. Horse racing, best horse racing movie, best movie that I've ever watched. Seabiscuit, maybe not best objectively, but my favorite of all time. Seabiscuit, favorite horse, Seabiscuit. it couldn't have been any easier for me.
Yeah, no, me neither. I thought I just rewatched it a couple weeks ago on a plane, and I was just into it the whole time. What's next for you, man? What's next for Nathan's World here?
By the time this podcast releases, I'm going to be in Indianapolis.
Nice. What's going on there?
I was given an invite while at that aforementioned racing symposium. The racing secretary there, Eric Hallstrom, a really swell guy and a fellow U of A RTIP grad.
Nice.
So he's always been incredibly kind to RTIP people visiting Indianapolis. In 2022, during my first year, he gave us all he helped with the full paid field trip to Indianapolis, where all the students got to go. I missed because I had something else, unfortunately, but he was already willing to invite students to the track and give them all the scoop. And even during the summer, he's invited students before. I'm just another one. He's always been so happy to provide for more racetrack industry program students, just like how he once was. Now
Right.
he runs a whole darn racetrack, and in my opinion, one of the better looking racetracks in terms of business, enthusiasm, and niche.
Mm-hmm. No, 1,000%.
Because while it is a weekday track, which to most people doesn't sound as glamorous, it has decent fields. It's run by people who are really enthusiastic about the game. In general, Indiana breeding is one of the most enthusiastic in our country, with all the state bred incentives. It's a nice track and a nice abode for locally bred horses to really succeed and flourish. And we need more chances for mom and pop people to have their horses do well in horse racing, as the cost of maintaining these animals gets harder and harder for what is for a lot of people a hobby, and to some people, life.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. Again, he's Nathan Klein. Find him on Twitter or X at Nathan the Caller. Nathan, I really appreciate your time. And hey, man, I'm looking forward to looking back on this podcast when hopefully we're one day a big in the horse racing world, calling horse races. And hey, I really appreciate the time. And I really think, truly, man, I think you've got a big upbringing, if you will, a big positive motion here when it comes to horse racing. And I wish you the best of luck in the future.
Thank you, man. I wish you luck as well. It was a pleasure being on this show. Let's see what happens in hindsight with the race with the Black-Eyed Susans at Old Hilltop.
Thank you, Nathan. Do you like having a good slice of pizza or an adult beverage with your best friends? Well, I got the perfect place for you to do that at. It's called Sports on Tap in Minot, North Dakota, along with Planet Pizza. Minot's best place to have any kind of fun. They've been locally owned and operated by the Mueller family for the last 30 years. Find them on Facebook at Sports on Tap or give them a call at 701-837-8220. Sports on Tap, the best place to have the best fun. That's our show today. Before you go, I just want to thank Bill, Dexter, and Nathan for all coming on, but I've got our play of the day, and this is from the Dallas Mavericks' Luka Doncic. It's a full-court alley-oop to Lively, and this is one of my favorite teams right now in the NBA playoffs, the Mavericks making a run against the 1-seed Oklahoma City Thunder. Here's the play.
Another banger for Dallas. Pinpoint accuracy to set it up for the slam. 7-0 run.
So that was Luka throwing a 3/4 court alley-oop to Lively, and the Mavs going on a little bit of a run here. I like it. I like where they're heading, and more importantly, I think they're going to make a run. I think they're going to knock off Oklahoma City. But to leave you today, I leave you with some inspiration from the great Morgan Freeman. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. And as always, make sure you like, subscribe, and tune in to our Swim Lessons podcast every Wednesday morning. Thank you.
Do you think God gives them patience? Or does he give them the opportunity to be patient? If they prayed for courage, does God give them courage, or does he give them opportunities to be courageous? If someone prayed for family to be closer, do you think God's absent with warm, fuzzy feelings? Or does he give them opportunities to love each other?
We're closing out with Morgan Freeman. What a better way to go. All right. Thank you, everybody. See you on Wednesday. Love you.